Hello YouTube, good to be back here. Welcome to the 10-minute update. Maybe a surprise setup. I'm here with Jeroen in Arnhem. I'm back from the Netherlands after being here and after being in Sweden for 6 months. It's good to be back in Netherlands. Also fun to work together again and on an appropriate distance.
Appropriate distance. Safe distance.
Oh, let's try to keep the focus. In this update, we'll talk a little bit about HE and some update news. Jeroen will talk a little bit about the top plate. There's a little issue going on with the top plate, and something about chips. Not the chips you eat, but like PCB chips and MCUs, and a little bit about Wootility. So let's dive into it. Since last week, we now have a dedicated update page on the Wooting to HE landing page. If you go to wooting.io/Wooting to HE, you get on the Wooting to HE landing page, and from there there's a little tab where you can find the latest update news. We used to have this on the Lacquer edition, and we still have, but we thought now that the Lacquer edition has been mass produced and the journey is almost over, the HE people deserve their own update slug, which we should have done a while ago. I think we've sent a mail to everybody that it's there and we're updated regular. Now, for the first time, there's for this first update, Kalle is there with a nice video talking about what's going on with the HE and where we added the process. And once this, just regularly check it out. We are almost sold out of batch 1 of the Wooting to HEs, so there are, I think, less than 25 left, and the ISO versions are already sold out for batch 1, so if you order it now, you will be placed in batch 2, and batch 2 will be delivered 2 to 3 months after the batch 1 has been delivered. We're now in a sort of awkward situation where it isn't clear what you're ordering, whether it's like batch 1 or batch 2, and we came up with a system and an idea we still need to implement, how we can make it clear to everybody on the store page what batch you're in when you're pre-ordering it, have concrete dates and also more information about batches and when they will drop. So that's something to look forward to. But if you have any doubts, as long as you ordered your keyboard before the 12th of March, you are in batch 1, and afterwards you could be in batch 2. And if you're not sure, you can always ask us on social@wooting.io.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into the
top plate issue.
The top plate issue. So to be honest, I haven't seen College update video, I have to admit. So I'm just gonna assume that people don't know what the top plate issue is.
No.
So, but I assume we talked about it.
Yeah.
And basically, we always made our top plate at the same factory. We've always we've been making our top plates there for how long? 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, since the beginning.
And about 3 weeks ago, Kevin got a call from the top plate guy. Let's call him Gary.
Let's call him Gary.
That might be his name. And Gary was like, what was the first story again? It was a very strange story. He's like, oh yeah, so, one of his family members died.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, I don't think we can do the production anymore. It's best if you move the mold of the top plate to a new factory.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, well, so we started arranging with our new factory, and we kind of wanted to move top plate factory anyway, so we weren't like too concerned about it. And then the next day, Gary called again, and he was like, yeah, when you move the mold, you actually have to pick it up at a different factory because I already moved it. And we were like, oh, Gary, why did you move it?
Yeah.
And Gary was like, yeah, there's gonna be like, his factory has some trouble or something, but then don't worry about it. I have secured your mold. It's in a different factory now, and you can pick it up there. And then, of course, we were like, what the fuck? What's going on, Gary?
So our first response was, of course, like, hey, is he taking our mold hostage?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah.
Is he screwing us over now? Good old Gary. Yeah.
And so Kevin spent a lot of time, like I think the entire week, last week or this week, or one of those weeks, just constantly like trying to get on top of what's going on.
Yeah.
And also like arranging with our new manufacturer, like, hey, because moving a mold is actually a little bit complicated because first of all it's very big, so that is difficult. But then what the new factory also wants to do is kind of like see how the old factory used it and kind of do like a few test runs so they can see like, oh, it works correctly, and then once they sign off, you can go to the new one and everything. So that was for Kevin, it was unbelievable hassle to arrange. But then he did it. That's good news. The factory or the top plate has been moved. It is in the new factory now. What is going to happen is that for our trial sample runs that we're working on right now, our current factory is going to use the mold themselves to like kind of verify that everything's working, and then after it's verified, it will move to a top plate factory, because our factory is not really a top plate factory. It's kind of complicated, but then that is what's going on now. So problem solved. Thank you, Gary. Very nice.
Thank you, Gary.
And I think from now on the top plate should also be very smooth. But this was the last like big pending topic for the HE, I think.
Yeah, and this was also in the update. Carl sort of postponed the whole promise of sending a hard, concrete delivery day.
Yeah.
And this was a big reason, because we were sort of in limbo, like, hey, what's going on with the mold and
Yeah.
some other minor things that are going on. But I think Carl promised this week to have a more definitive answer, but I think it will be next week when we have a more definitive answer, because we just need to figure out some minor things still.
Yeah, and one of the kind of like scary unknowns still now is something that you probably heard from different industries as well, which is that what Erik talked about at the start, the chips, the IC, integrated circuits industry is kind of like crazy at the moment, because they had to, I think, like scale down a lot during COVID, and now everything is red hot again. And if you want to order components for your PCB, you're gonna have crazy lead times. And with most components, we already have like a pretty significant stock built up, especially for like a critical part, which is the MCU, like the brain of the keyboard. That's what we already have a lot of, so that is something we're not really worried about. But there are also some other parts here and there. So what we are going to do as soon as possible is what we're working on now is what we call a risky buy. And it basically means like, okay, before, like let's say all the official testing steps are complete, we're just going to buy all the components already anyway, so that when the testing completes, and because we already did the Lacquer edition, we're quite confident that will be okay, then we can just move to production right away.
Yeah. We did a similar thing with the Lacquer production to speed it up.
Yeah. So that's that for the HE. And I kind of realized just now that maybe we should talk a bit about the Lacquer, what's going on. I mean, there's not much going on, but then there's two interesting things. One is the funny keycaps came in.
Funny keycaps.
I posted a few pictures in the Lacquer Edition Discord channel, so go check that out if you want to see. It's kind of like a behind the scenes footage there. And as far as I know, I don't know the exact shipping, but then the shipping schedule, the latest shipping schedule that we posted is still accurate. Let me just call it like that. Yeah. So I think it's like start of April, boat will arrive. Definitely in the EU, US I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's similar time. Yeah. So we're still on the same schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing too much to add there.
I just wanted to confirm. Right? I guess there's a lot of people waiting for the Lacquer keyboard. So.
Well, I'm not. I received mine, so.
Oh.
Well, there is another topic that. Let me cycle it right through. So, 2 weeks ago, Carlo and I, when we were brainstorming, want to earn more money. How do we do it? And we came with this amazing idea to increase our prices. So we a week ago we increased the price of the Wooting 2HE with €5 and dollars, so it's now $184.99. And the wrist rest we made a few dollars more expensive. I think the full size now
it's $2 each.
$32.99. No, the full size has gone up $3.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So am I saying it correct? Yeah. Because the full size was $29.99 and it's now $32.99.
Oh,
so that's $3. Yeah. And the 10 keyless wristband is from $27.99 or $28.99. I'm not sure what it was. It was $27.99. It went up to $29.99.
Yeah.
And the truth is, it's not that we really want to earn more money. It's the thing with the. I think Carlo also explains it in
a blog post.
In a blog post really well, where the steep dollar prices and the weak dollar prices and the more increased labor cost in China made this all happen. And we still need to earn some money, you know.
Basically stuff is getting more expensive because US dollar is not really doing too well, and even though we are a European company, we do a lot in US dollar because that is what we pay the factory. That's what we pay the products in when we get them from the factory. And also materials prices have increased a lot, so our factories have increased their prices as well.
Yeah, which is logical. And just read the blog. Calder had a more deep dive there in where all the costs go to. It's very interesting.
More money.
More money and more of course. See this fancy office? Somebody has to pay it. And last thing, did we have one more thing?
We had a last little software update.
Yes.
So right now we're full force working on the new Wootility, like prepared for Lacquer lines. We're gonna have a little bit of a redesign, not like too big of a step, but then definitely brush up a lot of little things and then also work on some new functionalities. What Simon has been working on for the last week or two even is sort of a USB rework, because like basically the part of the code where we kind of say like, okay, how does your Wootility talk to your keyboard? That part was ancient. It was like one of the first parts we made a long time ago, and it was pretty bad. Let's just keep it at that. And basically Simon came in and he dug up everything, and we have like a very nice new design now, and has a few advantages too that we can already use right now, which is that when you start your Wootility, your keyboard will get picked up a lot faster. That is very nice. Two is when you switch profiles, it will also be faster, and it will just feel more responsive, and it's also, let's say, more stable, because before what we had was sometimes when you kind of switch profiles too fast, it will kind of get out of sync, and that was not nice. And the third one, but this is not, I'm not sure how we're going to use this yet, but basically now in this backend we have possibility for multi-device support. So if you have two Wooting keyboards, you can, well, you cannot do it yet, but then there is now a possibility for us to put in like multi-device support. And I think at the start maybe we'll do like I don't know, like a little like a select, like okay, this is the device I want to use, like not like a super nice working together yet, but then I think now when you use it, everything kind of crashes. So that
well, it is more scalable now, and that's I think the most important part, to make it more future-proof. And it's somebody did a good job there, right?
Yeah. So and then now we're going. So now that all the backend stuff is done, let's say, now we're going to move into the juicy new features, new design, and we're kind of aiming to. I'm not really sure how we're going to release it yet. I think we're just not going to make anything public until the Lacquer editions come out, so that the people that receive the Lacquer editions, once they receive it, will have like the new update ready. That's the goal. Yeah.
After the 10-minute update, we can maybe deep dive a little bit into it and how the whole process will look. But for YouTube, this was the 10-minute update. Hope you enjoyed it. Next time, be sure to participate in our live stream. It's way more fun. It's
you can go right here into the chat.
You can say hello to YouTube, and I mean, YouTube only gets to see this on Wednesday, Tuesday next week.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
sometime.
Sometime.
Okay, that's it.
Join
Bye YouTube.
Bye YouTube.